everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to, welcome to our racetrack. We're at Croft. We are here for round 2 of the Scottish Championship, round 3 of the National Championship, which we're racing alongside for, second Formula Ford race weekend. And it's been productive for all the track time we got. We had 2 25-minute practice sessions. We were meant to have 3, but unfortunately 2 cars came together and the whole session got binned. So only got about 50 odd minutes of the track time, which is not massive amounts, but the good part was maybe the second session I got a lot of running, and it allowed me to understand exactly where I need to improve, because there's a lot of things I'm learning from sort of scratch really. Right foot brake and the heel toe, and you can do all of these things, but it's how to get them right and how to avoid repeat mistakes and stuff like that. But got plenty of onboard footage, some data that I can look over today, tonight, tomorrow morning, which should be good before qualifying first thing. 15-minute quali at like sort of 5 to 10 tomorrow, so that'll be fun. I'm just gonna give it everything. I know I've got some performance within me. It's just about untapping that performance. I know I've got it within me. I just need to put everything together, dial the car in. I'm optimistic, I'm confident, today was a fun day. What a track though, Croft, freaking awesome. But I'm rambling a bit much, and I guess we're cutting to qualifying, So on the Friday we were to have 3 practice sessions of 25 minutes each, which would have given us 75 minutes of track time obviously, but the unfortunate thing for us was the final practice session of the day got pretty much completely written off after a few cars had a collision. So it was effectively 2 practice sessions, 50 minutes worth of practice, it was just all about learning the circuit, getting up to speed as quickly as possible, it was just such a pleasure to drive Croft. I mean, it was really high speed, really different. It's a completely different track to Knockhill, but some of the high speed sections through the S's, Barcroft, Sunny in and out, these are really special sections of track. I mean, they're so fast. You're seeing them on screen at the moment. This section, I can tell you, is just absolute insane fun to drive, and it was just really fun to get to drive a Formula Ford around this track. I mean, it's something that not many people would get the chance to do. So it was an awesome test day. The second session was actually pretty good because we managed to get 25 minutes worth of uninterrupted running, which was really useful, but then unfortunately I never got the chance to do any running in the final one. But after that it was straight into the qualifying on Saturday morning. So this is now Saturday. We are actually at the beginning of qualifying, heading out now, getting the car up to temperature, ahead of our first flying lap attempts. And on board now, and you're going to see just, it's easy to go over the limit because that's exactly what we've done. I think this is maybe on our first flying lap actually. We overcooked it into the entry of Sunny in, and as you can see we have to avoid a spin as well in front of us. Everyone pushes the limit in qualifying, and then once again into Sunny in I was carrying way too much speed, and I even tried to get back on the throttle going on the way into the middle of the corner, so that was me with a big brain moment. But trying to find our feet in qualifying, it was quite a scrappy session overall, but now on board for a hot lap of Croft with one of our qualifying laps, following 2 of the BM cars ahead of us from the National Championship. So heading into turn 1 you drop from 4th to 3rd, then down to 2nd, going into Hawthorne, getting on the power, trying to hug sort of a tight line while carrying the speed just to save yourself some distance, up to 3rd before you go through the chicane. You're flat out through here very easily, up to 4th gear, and now it's all about getting yourself set up nicely for Tower Bend. So you're braking just about before 100 metres, 4th to 3rd to 2nd, getting a very nice entry speed actually into that corner. We were very quick into Tower Bend on that occasion, sitting in the slipstream of these 2 cars ahead of us, because this lap was actually panning out to be quite good up to this point, so it was all about just keeping it going smoothly. So through Barcroft you're about 115 miles per hour through there, now into Sunny in, bit of oversteer in the middle of the corner, now you're flat through Sunny out. Still somewhat sticking with the cars ahead on weight. They have slightly gotten away from some 4th to down to 3rd into Complex 1, and we have a huge mistake into there, which was already a big chunk of time lost. Into complex 2, down to second, then one more corner to go negotiate with the hairpin, second to first, and we were stupid enough to decide to pinch the front left and cost ourselves a whole bunch of time. So this lap would have actually been pretty competitive. It would have been quite close to somewhat, I would maybe imagine, the top 10 sort of pace, but we decided to throw that one in the bin. Maybe not in the top 10, but quite close. But then, as you can now see, we have a red flag. So after a few scrappy runs, we didn't really have that great time on the board. So as you can see now, heading out after the red flag had ended, and we only had time for one out lap, which you're seeing now, before we went straight into a flying lap, and then it was checkered flag. So we had one attempt with cooler tyres and cooler brakes. So it was kind of all or nothing, but with always having to build in a bit of margin because everything wasn't up to temperature. So heading into turn 1 now on what will be our final and fastest qualifying lap. Unfortunately no slipstream though, so that alone costs us quite a bit around Croft. But getting a very nice run out of the exit of Hawthorne, then through the chicane we cut so much on the inside. This was pretty, I mean, on the brakes I had to be a little bit measured because they never felt 100% up to temperature, but then it was, apart from that though, I was just trying to be as committed as possible. It was your final run, you've got to put it all on the table. Through tower bend, now didn't maybe carry the most speed on the entry, but it was still very clean, carried decent momentum. Now up to 4th gear through the S as you're just holding it flat, trying to minimise the scrub. And now into Barcroft, you're holding it flat, down on the brakes. Down to 3rd, oversteering back on the power. Using as much road as you can all the way through. Up to 4th gear, and then having to be a bit early on the brakes into complex 1, but carrying a tight line all the way through, getting on the throttle nicely. Down into complex 2, one more corner to negotiate. Getting into 1st gear nicely, getting the car to rotate off the throttle, get another power, bit of correction on the exit, up to 2nd, up to 3rd, and that'll be us ready, well, not ready, but finishing across the line, and that was my fastest lap of qualifying. Unfortunately, it wasn't, I mean, and that was just in the one singular attempt, unfortunately. I was extremely pumped to get the improvement in, but it was a damn shame that we never had maybe a bit more. But nonetheless, here we are lining up, I believe, P13 on the grid, out of a 32 car grid, so it was a massive grid in this one for Croft. And yeah, getting ready for race 1 on the Saturday. So, well, the red lights are on your screen now, and we didn't get a very good reaction at all. We were very slow to react to the lights. I was too busy checking my RPM on the dash, but luckily didn't lose anything off the beginning. So, up to 3rd gear now, heading into turn 1 for the first time. Trying to avoid any chaos. Thankfully nothing sort of erupts around us. Down to 2nd, trying to get the run, and as you can see though, the front end was not really up to temperature at all. It was one thing I noticed, I didn't warm up the front tyres enough on the formation lap, so even through the chicane the front end was pushing quite a bit. So on board now, lap 1, heading now down the back straight for the first time. Lots of cars jostling for position ahead of us. You can see the Ammonite car in front of us. Have a look at the inside of our teammate. Going into Tower Bend, a bit of dust getting kicked up, as is quite common, but we actually get quite a good exit now out of Tower Bend, heading through the Jim Clark S's, just tucking into the slipstream, just revving out the car, then just backing out the throttle ever so slightly. You don't want to be too over eager into sunny in for the first time because you don't know what other cars are doing ahead of you. So now you're just holding 3rd gear all the way out. Up to 4th gear, Ammonite car with a little look to the inside of our teammate once again ahead of us. Still trying to get the front tyres up to temperature. Actually missed 2nd gear on the entry to complex 2, but we managed to get it in before we got into the corner, which was pretty ideal. But yeah, down to 1st gear before the hairpin, but we actually get quite a bad exit because we never managed to tuck the front end in, so we lose quite a bit of time on the exit of that hairpin. But now cutting on to the start of lap 2, and as you can see we have a car spinning off at the exit of the chicane and into the barrier on the left hand side. Now I would have maybe expected, I would not have been surprised to have seen a safety car at this point, given that there was a car sort of somewhat in the firing line, but I mean, right ahead of us as well, we have the Ammonite car getting ahead of our teammate into Tower Bend. So now, for reference, our teammate is our direct rival for the Scottish grid, because we are not racing in the national championship. We're racing in the grid, and we obviously still want to do well in it, but we score points in the Scottish championship. So this is yeah, this is for P1 in the Scottish. So this was, you know, this is exactly what I wanted to be chasing. So sitting behind my teammate, chasing as much as I can, pushing really hard on the exit of Sonny out. I was really just trying to, you know, hassle him as much as I could to try and, you know, create an opportunity. And yeah, it was just really useful to learn sort of where we were both quick, where I was quick, where Mikey was quick, and yeah, heading into the hairpin, turning in a bit too early, just not letting the front bite enough, and yeah, heading now down towards, I believe this is coming on to with the back markers now. Yes, you can see the back markers ahead of us. So there was some classic Formula Fords racing on the same grid as us, which was, yeah, not ideal 100% all of the time, because you could see that, yeah, you would end up having to go through them as back markers, and then as you can see now, Mikey goes through the middle, and then we get completely blocked. So yeah, that was kind of our chance to win, completely disappeared anyway from this. So that was quite, yeah, that's just the way it goes, that's the way the cookie crumbles. It's just unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, they're getting blue flags, but they're not, you know, gonna jump out the way, let's say. So it's not like F1 where they just pull off and let you pass sort of thing. But yeah, that was really unfortunate where we sort of lost all the time there, but that's just the way it goes. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. Cutting later on into this lap, and as you are about to see, red flag being waved for an incident for, I believe, Romanek's car was off at the side of the road, smouldering a bit. So yeah, that meant for race 1 we finished P2 in the Scottish and P9 overall, which was actually, you know, that was our best finish. So yeah, overall a great start to the weekend. Right, so that is, yeah, that's Saturday done, and yeah, I mean, got the sun in my eyes at the moment because it's been a really nice day, to be fair. But yeah, Saturday, had qualifying earlier today, managed to get, again, P13, just the same as the first round at Loadcell, which was a little bit disappointing because it felt like quite a messy session overall, but we managed to, you know, put it in the mix. It was quite a big grid. It's 32 cars this weekend with all the classes together, so pretty mega. And yeah, started race 1 P13, and due to, you know, incidents, keeping it clean and yeah, keeping out of trouble, you know, well, and taking, you know, making the best of others' misfortune. I think we managed to get up to P9 for race 1, which means I'll start P9 tomorrow for race 2, which is, you know, great, and crucially as well, P2 in the Scottish, just behind my teammate Mikey, who got the win. So overall, a really positive day. Helped to understand more of the issues that I was having with, you know, certain driving characteristics, knowing what I can do better, what I need more from the car, certain things like that. So really productive day, really useful, and yeah, just looking forward again to race 2 tomorrow. I'm not sure what the weather's going to do. I mean, I don't think it's going to be as good as this, but the sun beaming down, I'm probably going to get a bit of sunburn for tomorrow. But yeah, been a great day, a lot of fun had. It's awesome to drive around Croft fully lit in a Formula Ford, and yeah, I mean, I feel like it's yeah, I feel like there's only more to come from the weekend. In terms of pace, things will just, if they all slot together and build constructively like they have so far this weekend, and we stay on this sort of upward trajectory, then I feel like it should be yeah, it could be alright. So just got to keep working hard. You know, nothing happens overnight. You know, I can't just jump into a Formula Ford and, you know, magically know how to master everything. You know, there's still things that I want to work on, and unless I'm, you know, P1, you know, there's always more I can do. So yeah, good day, but more work to be done tomorrow for race 2 and 3. So yeah, let's keep going. Right, so on to now the Sunday for race 2 and 3. So as you heard just there, we are starting P9 for race 2. Directly behind our teammate Mikey. And yeah, I was super hyped for today. I mean, race 1 went really smoothly, managed to get some, laps under my belt, and everything just started to learn and build more and more as the weekend got on, and I was growing confident and feeling much happier with how I was performing. So and as you can see, warming the fronts a lot more, because I remember from the first race I never had enough temperature on the front, so I made sure after doing my homework to not make the same mistake. So I was pretty psyched for this race. I mean, even to be on in P9 and to be this close to the front runners, it was really, really cool. And only my second race weekend in a race car. So here we go, red lights are on, revs are building, and we actually get a pretty decent start. Not quite as good as Mikey's, but overall best start I've done in a Formula 4. So off the line now, Mikey going round the outside of 2 cars into one who didn't get quite as good a start, so that is him now 2 positions up the road, but crucially not losing any positions on our end to any cars behind. So now it is all systems go, effectively up to 3rd gear, through the chicane for the first time, not suffering with as much understeer as I was in race 1. So the tyres were much better working, brakes were much warmer than they were, so done a better job on the formation lap. So that was a crucial thing. And as you can see now, Ammonite car, I can't remember who it was, but trying so desperately to go up the inside into Tower Bend, really wanting to get the position back on Mikey ahead of us, who I believe got re-overtaken into Tower Bend by one of the cars they got around turn 1. But now heading into Barcroft for the first time, 4th to 3rd. You can see the Ammonite car all over the grass trying to get up the inside. Formula 4 does a proper dogfight. I mean, it's elbows out 24/7. It is hardcore, and you can really see that with basically how everyone races, and it is pretty awesome. At times you can see a baller deciding to go for a quick flight as we drive through Complex 1 and 2 for the first time on this Sunday, and heading into the hairpin for the first time, turning in way too early. I mean, usually we understeer to the hairpin, but this time I got it a bit too early, so we never got a great exit on the exit of the hairpin on that end of lap 1. But as you can see now, the Ammonite car finally got away, wanted up the inside of Mikey into Tower Bend, and as you can see we're pushing pretty hard on the exit there of Tower Bend. And now heading into Sunny Inn, I was starting to build some serious confidence into these places. I was carrying good speed into Sunny Inn, and we gained quite a bit of time on the car ahead. And again, this was for P1 in the Scottish, so my ultimate target was to try and win a Scottish race this weekend. So yeah, I just sort of set my sights on it and tried to do what I could, and yeah, this was really exciting. So into the hairpin, we actually get a really decent run now. So we had a good entry, decent exit, but as you can see now, we're losing. We just lose and lose and lose on the corner exit and then sort of down the straight. So it's quite difficult to get the run, let's say, when you're losing that momentum. But through turns 1, 2 and 3 for the first time, as you can see, Mikey has a snap and we get a really, really good exit. So we're right on the back now. This is for P1 and effectively our class, what we're competing in. So heading through the chicane for the first time. This is, I believe, lap 3 of the race. Up to 4th gear, sticking in the slipstream as much as I can. Heading down to Tower Bend, having a little look to the right. Mikey defends the inside, but we dive for the outside, down to 2nd gear, trying to hang it round the outside, holding, trying to hang it round, but we get shown the door, and then we have to try and regain composure. Thankfully nobody behind us to snatch up any positions, but we tried our best to go round the outside, but we were pretty much shown the door firmly there. So now it was just a case of trying to hunt them down, try and force them into an error. We were running so close to the back of them in this race. We were trying as much as we could to try and force the error. Fair play, never made much or any at all to make it, but the most annoying thing for me was I wasn't able to get any runs on the straight. I mean, I could get as best a run as I wanted in the corners, but I wasn't able to capitalise on it. Even with really good exits like this, I couldn't get a run. That's all I had. So it was just trying to be persistent, try and be patient, try and continually apply as much pressure as possible and see what opportunities would come later in the race. And as you can see, I think ahead, I mean, I don't know if that's a back marker or an Ammonite car, but yeah, just try to run as close as possible, try and hassle him as much as possible. And yeah, see what eventually comes from it. But up until this point, it was just pretty awesome racing. But as you can see now, we have a back marker ahead of us, so we're down to third gear through turn 1 now. I'm back off slightly, drop into second early, and as you can see, the back marker goes super wide. Mikey goes to the outside, and we take the lead of the Scottish race effectively here at Croft. But as you can see now, you can see them as we've got the better exit out of 2, or 3, sorry. But down the straight, we've just got nothing to defend with. We just get completely slingshotted past, and as I'm trying to brake late into Tower Bend, sorry, we just completely pinched the front left. But at the end of the day, if I brake later there's a high chance we crash. So at the end of the day, I was kind of sort of strapped down there. I couldn't really do too much more to defend that, unfortunately. But I gave it a good damn go. Had the lead for a brief moment, but then just couldn't hold up on the down the straight, which was massively frustrating. But that was ultimately all I could really try and do. I just had to keep it up, keep persistent, never give up, and keep the pressure on all the way to the end. And I think this is maybe now the last lap we're on. Heading into Barcroft, now into Sunny Inn, gaining a lot of time in the entry into the braking zone, just trying to run as close as possible, trying to apply as much pressure as I could at the latest phase of the race as I could. Mikey defending the inside into Complex 1, we have a look to the outside now. Mikey then goes tight for Complex 2. We're just trying to constantly set him up, just try and see what we can apply, see if he goes defensive into the final corner. But ultimately all Mikey has to do here is park it in the apex, and there's not really much I can do. So out the exit of the last corner for the last time, and it was a hard fought but solid P2 once again in the Scottish. So that was P10 overall in the whole grid, and P2 just behind Mikey and the Scottish. So it was a great race overall, lots of fun I had, and yeah, GG's to Mikey on the fight. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, now on to race 3, I guess. Straight into race 3, I didn't even have much time to talk about it. And yeah, starting P10, because you just start where you finish in these races. So race 3 on the Sunday, final race of the final race of the proceedings. And yeah, starting on the outside for the first time actually, but getting the revs up before the lights come on. Lights out, and we didn't actually get that good a launch. I mean, it didn't really work at all. I mean, just sort of too slow in the clutch release, but maybe not enough revs at the same time. So not the best start I've had, and we lose our position immediately to one of the BM cars, which again, probably a consequence of the bad start. But nonetheless, heads down, trying to get to it now. And I believe we have right behind us now, I believe this might be Lucas Romanek, who was one of the fastest cars in the field. So I saw him on lap 1, and to be honest, you can see I left really early, because I'm like, well, Romanek is much quicker. I do not want to lose time fighting him, and at the end of the day, if he's going to carve his way through cars ahead, I want to try and go through with him. So that is us now settled into the race on lap 1. But as you can see now, cutting, I believe this is on to lap 2 now. We had a car go up our inside. I believe this is maybe, I don't know if this is Jamie Sharp. No, I don't think it's Jamie Sharp. Maybe, I can't remember. Not too sure. But it was a BM car nonetheless, and unfortunately this meant we've lost quite a bit of time. And then we get overtaken up the inside into turn 1 by one of the Dolan cars, which again, this meant we just kept losing ground. It was sort of just like a domino effect. And this was extremely frustrating because our teammate Mikey for the P1 for the Scottish was now, 2 cars up the road, 3 cars up the road, or whatever it was. See, that all the damage was done right at the beginning of the race, and it put us out of contention straight away, regardless of what our pace was going to respectively be. So, yeah, that was largely frustrating, but at the end of the day, that's just the way it goes. But yeah, now the focus was on to trying to recover as best ground as possible. Having a look at the inside of one of the Dolan cars that we had a fight with earlier, that we got passed on by, I can't speak, earlier on in the race, tried to go round his inside into complex 1, but then we had another Dolan car in the mix who was a bit quicker, so he went for the outside and decided not to try and do anything stupid on the inside, so he gets the run into onto the main straight. And you can see the Dolan car making a huge dive up the inside of his teammate, which was the one we were fighting with originally. So yeah, now we have 2 cars directly in front of us to try and fight for position with. And then coming out the exit, the last corner, the Dolan car pits, which I really don't know why, but yeah, that looks a bit of a mystery to me. But anyway, now I believe this is for P12 now overall, and this is on the penultimate lap. Having a look at the inside, not making a huge lunge just because we didn't quite have a complete assurance of what exactly would have happened, but yeah, now on to, I believe this is the last lap of the race now, so currently we're sitting P13, the Scottish one's out of the contention unfortunately, but I really wanted to try and make up any last positions I could, so last lap of the race, one more opportunity really to have a go at the car ahead, so we have a little look to the inside, and we break, the guy goes into the space, and we go up the inside of complex 1, put on the power, quick check in the mirrors, you can see they're dropping it into second, covering the inside, and you can see him in his mirrors, then covering the inside into the hairpin, rolling it in slow to the apex, parking it nicely, getting the exit, and that is us with one extra position to our name to finish P12 in race 3 to round out what has been a very solid weekend of improvement. And yeah, that was our races and qualifying at Croft for round 2, which was an absolute pleasure. So that is Sunday done, that's Croft race weekend for the Formula 4s. Ticked off the list, second race weekend in the race car, so yeah, really positive day overall. Race 2, so the first race of today, as my hair's doing things, was really positive. I mean, it was a complete race long fight with Mikey, my teammate, for the race lead, which was extremely fun. Gutted to not come out on top of it, but it was a good run all the way. I gave it pretty much everything to well, not pretty much, I gave it everything to try and create opportunities, but sadly it was just very difficult to get the run. So yeah, managed to get another P2 in the Scottish, P10 overall, which is again very good in the overall in terms of the national and the grid overall. And then race 3, so the final race of the day, I was unfortunate because we lost a few places off the beginning to some of the national people who were sort of out of position, let's say, so they were behind us and they were faster coming through, so yeah, lost quite a lot of time at the very beginning of the third race, which kind of put me out of contention very early for the Scottish one, which was unfortunate because I felt like the pace then sort of comes to me, but yeah, all the damage was done very early on, which was yeah, that's just the way racing goes. Overall though, the good thing I would say, well, I mean, and I finished P2 again in the Scottish and P12 overall in race 3. But overall, there's more positives than negatives. This weekend was a very good step forward, and I mean, it gives me confidence that with every second, every lap I get in one of these cars, it will get better, and I've got every confidence that I can get to the point where I want to be, which is being as fast as possible. Simple as that. So yeah, very positive weekend, very happy with ultimately the progress I've made, and I know exactly sort of most of the areas that I need to work on for the future, and it's really good. So happy with the weekend overall, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've all, I don't know if the wind noise is that bad, so apologies if it is, but yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments down below. If you enjoyed the onboard footage, I got a lot of footage from this weekend, so that was really good. And yeah, take care, have a great rest of your day. I love you all, and catch you guys in the next video. Take care, peace, ciao.